Podcast where we watch every single episode of the 1966 Batman television series. And then we talk about it for your listening pleasure. Today's episode, a riddle a day keeps the Riddler away. Ugh, what a mouthful. It's episode 11, originally aired February 16th, 1966. Written by Fred DeGorder, directed by Tom Grease. What do you think? I don't know.
Might be Gree for all we know.
Could be green. No idea. Probably dead at this point. So it doesn't really matter. The Riddler's back.
He's returned. He didn't actually die.
Yeah, last we saw him, there was like a cave-in or an explosion or something, and they couldn't find the Riddler's body.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Robin was really upset that the Riddler wasn't confirmed to be dead.
Yeah, and then Batman was like, well, I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah.
And he was right.
He was right. He's back. Listeners, if you want to hear our history and thoughts on the Riddler overall, feel free to go back to episode 1 and check that out.
Yeah.
I feel like my feelings about the Riddler aren't any different this time around.
Yeah, it hasn't changed all that much. Just, I like the Riddler. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah. Last time we gave him a 2 on our villains ranking list. I'm interested to see how he performs this time around.
Yeah, is this going to be the first one where we start having to average out their scores?
Yeah, well, I feel like we'll average it out.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end of the season, but, he could go up, he could go down.
Yeah, let's see how he does. Our episode begins at Gotham City International Airport. King Boris has just landed. Did they say what he is the king of?
No, they didn't. And he's got no accent. So,
yeah. All that gets said is that he rules a small but happy country.
Whatever that means. I just know he rode American Propaganda Airlines.
Yeah, right? He was like, oh, it's a bumpy ride until we got into American territory, of course.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, they're like, oh, yeah, that's how it always works.
When I first saw King Boris, I was pretty excited, but
yeah, why were you excited?
I'm surprised you didn't recognize this actor. He plays another character in Batman 66 history.
I had a feeling he might be Commodore Schmidlap, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's Commodore Schmidlap from the movie. And hopefully that's the last time we bring up the movie on this episode. At least
until we talk about the movie.
We talk about the movie and Molly so much.
I know. Every episode we bring them up.
Yeah. I guess I preempted it, but I wanted to bring up Molly anyway.
Okay.
Later
I wanted to bring her up too for different reasons.
Yeah. King Boris, who is completely unrelated to Commodore Schmidlap, lands in Gotham City. There's like a very small crowd, but a crowd nonetheless, who's very stoked that he's in town.
Yeah, there's someone with a big sign that says, welcome, King Boris.
A young lady from the welcoming committee shows up and hands him some flowers, which delights him. She runs off, and then the flowers immediately explode.
Well, they explode into a riddle. They didn't just murder a foreign dignitary.
Yes, that's true. They explode the same way fireworks explode, not a bomb.
So, if people want to listen to the last time we did Riddler, whenever there was a riddle, I paused the episode until I could figure out, until I at least had a guess at what the riddle could be. And I did the same thing with this one. So the first riddle we get, when is a person like a piece of wood? I had a lot of potential answers for this, and I couldn't figure it out. So I was like, when it's rotten, I was like, no. When it's bored, get it? When it was nailed, screwed, or warped. But, we haven't gotten to the answer yet. So I was like, I was pretty confident in warped. Because get it, like the Riddler, like his mind's warped.
His mind is warped.
So I was pretty happy with that. But I'm not happy with the real answer, but we'll get there when we get there.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Riddler is delivered to us in this banner that kind of floats from I guess it's shot out
I
of
assume it's shot
the
up and
cover.
like unfurled.
They really love these banners. There were similar banners in the Joker episode that came out of the trick utility belt.
Yeah, with like all the confetti and stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, that one had a whole bunch of those banners. So there was
Yeah.
one for Batman, there was one for Robin, there was one about the Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the special effects department, it's an easy thing for them to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We cut to police headquarters, and it's very similar to when we cut to police headquarters in the first episode, which, I mean, as far as there being a foreign like ruler, the whole setup seems very similar.
I have a feeling it's not gonna go the same way.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But,
But
like,
it is strange that's become like the Riddler's thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's someone from another country's in town. Let's start fucking with them.
Yeah, I gotta throw crime at that.
Very similar to the first episode. Commissioner Gordon asks any of his men if they're up for the task of taking on the infernal prince of puzzlers.
Yeah.
Of course, none of them are. So they call Batman.
To be fair, I'm not either. I've learned from doing the riddles.
Bruce and Dick at Wayne Manor are playing a game of chess.
Yep.
Bruce has just mated Dick.
He just checkmated him. Let's context or phrasing.
Whatever. I didn't say he mated with Dick. Okay.
Why? How do you do it?
Oh yeah. Dick's upset because he can never win unless Bruce is distracted by something. You know, I play a bit of chess myself, and I understand those frustrations. Alfred gets the two of them because the bat phone's ringing. They run out of the room and almost run over Aunt Harriet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it'll never come up in any significant way, but she does bring up, like, what's up with the two of y'all? It's just like, every once in a while, I just see the two of you running out of this room.
Off to do
like
something.
The fate of the city depends on it.
Yeah. I'm surprised. If this show was allowed to curse, you could have said like a bat out of hell.
Yeah. Bruce and Dick give some excuse about a bet they had and continue to run off. They get to police headquarters, and Robin gives us the answer to the riddle.
Well, they kind of gave us like a weird, didn't really have an answer, more like a weird train of thought. So one is a person like a piece of wood. First, he's like, when it's a ruler. And they're like, well, he didn't do anything to the king. And then they do something like with the king and chess. And eventually winds up being about the Queen of Beauty, which is like this Miss America, Miss Universe pageant that's happening. I don't know.
Well, I think ruler is the answer. But they're just trying to figure out how that connects to whatever's going on.
But I think that could have been, because I don't know. That seemed like kind of open to interpretation what the answer could have been for that, in my opinion. Yeah, I guess taking the wider context of how the riddle was delivered, that makes more sense. You got me again, the Riddler.
See? The infernal prince of puzzlers.
Spoiler alert, I got one of them, and I'm really happy about that.
Oh, nice. Good. It turns out King Boris is a judge for the Miss Galaxy competition.
Yeah, which they're going to pick. The person they crown's called the Queen of Beauty. But the way they keep interchanging Miss Galaxy and Queen of Beauty, like as if it's the title of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was throwing me off.
And then isn't there something called the Queen of Freedom also? That's
which is going to be a thing. Yeah, which is why the King Boris is in town.
Yeah.
He's got he's got some statue he's going to give, like replica statue about it, which I think that might be their like made up version of the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I wonder. Interesting. The prize for winning the Miss Galaxy competition is a priceless diamond and emerald tiara. So they figure that's probably what the Riddler's after. There was some talk of like, oh, maybe it's a chess tournament because there's a chess tournament happening in Gotham City right now. Scott, did you watch episode 2?
Of this now.
Okay, yeah, me neither. I feel like this chess tournament's gonna come up.
It might, but that's also partly why I was annoyed by their answer to it, because it's like, oh, it could be these two extremely different crimes happening. It's a bad riddle for the Riddler, in my opinion. I'm very upset.
Yeah, but like Bruce and Dick were playing chess, and then
yeah, it makes
towards the end, the Riddler's like, "Oh, this is part of my plan to checkmate."
And he mentions like the king is a pawn. Like, yeah.
So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to get that as a set
Do you
piece.
think there's going to be a big brawl and there's going to be like giant chess pieces, like as decoration? They're going to pick them up and like fight each other with them, like smash into each other. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
The commissioner tells Chief O'Hara to double the guard on the Miss Galaxy competition, but Batman says that maybe they should let the Riddler steal the tiara.
Oh no. Batman lost his marbles?
He must have. So we immediately cut to the end of this Miss Galaxy competition.
Yeah.
And I feel like King Boris really cut that close.
I don't think he was supposed to be there for that. I think that was just the thing that was happening tonight or that night. He was in town to do the statue of, or the Queen of Liberty or Queen of Freedom thing.
Okay, so they're just like, oh, you're going to land at like noon. This thing starts at 3:00. Why don't you come on over?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, oh man, he just like landed and then had to like run right over and judge this competition. Anyway, they crown Julia Davis.
You see, I didn't write her name down because it seemed inconsequential.
Yeah, I wrote it down just in case it became consequential, but it doesn't really seem like it's going to play into anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, Julia Davis wins. Batman and Robin are hiding backstage. And I guess it doesn't really matter that they're hiding because the Riddler pops out of a trap door.
He steals the crown and steals a kiss.
Yeah.
That was non-consensual.
Non-consensual, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you said last Riddler story that he's pretty creepy, and that seems to hold.
He's very creepy.
So the Joker runs off, but Batman's like, it's a fake crown with a homing transmitter. We're gonna get him.
That seems to be Batman's big move these days.
Yeah, but just like last week, or rather the week before last with Zelda the Great.
Yeah.
The Riddler knows there's a transmitter.
Yeah, because they get into the Batmobile, they turn it on, and he pops out of a manhole cover nearby.
Yeah. I thought that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting because it's like a parking garage. So it's like a different kind of like setting than we usually see.
Yeah, the Riddler, even beyond him, kissing Julia Davis, he looks extra creepy in this episode.
Yeah. I think it's Frank Ocean like can put on a really crazy face and like he's like really skinny. So like I don't know, he just like looks weird.
Yeah, there's like the way he can, like, where he's like crouching and like he looks
is really strange. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of the way some comic book artists will draw the Scarecrow.
I can see that, yeah.
Just like really inhuman postures.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget, I feel like artists forget the Scarecrow is not an actual Scarecrow. Because he'll just be like in positions that aren't humanly possible.
Yeah, maybe you can chalk it up to
artistic license.
Yeah, or we're looking at him as if we've taken some of the fear toxin.
Maybe.
We're not talking about that.
But yet. I mean, all of this creepy stuff is like a compliment.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say like the performance is bad or Frank Ocean's a weirdo. I don't know him in real life. So
yeah,
would have been cool.
So Riddler leaves the dynamic duo with a couple riddles here.
So the first one is what room can no one enter? And now he mentions if you solve this, there's like he ties it to the tiara. So I was like, oh, headroom. So I don't know. That's where I was.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
wrong, buddy.
I'm very wrong on that. But the other thing is like it's written on a piece of paper. What is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of every end of every race? And I got that one right because that's the letter E.
Oh, whoa.
The beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the words, the beginning of every end and of every race. All of those begin or end with E.
At the end of every race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's why. Does that play into anything though?
It does. They don't make a big deal about it, so I feel cheated. I'll point out where it plays into it when we get into his hideout, or
Cool.
where he's got them. He may or may not have some sort of trap.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah, until we spoil it.
Dynamic duo head back to the Bat Cave, and we get the answers to the riddle. You want to go for it?
Yeah, Robin's just like immediately like, oh, a mushroom. Batman's, of course, the Royal Mushroom Club or whatever. That's where the king would be hanging out.
Yeah, because doesn't he say once you figure out the first riddle, the second one is in the tiara or something?
Something like that. We
And
just watched it. I don't remember.
That's how they get from just mushroom to the royal
To
mushroom.
the royal aspect of it. Yeah.
I really like this next bit. It's like, get the address for the Royal Mushroom Club. And Robin goes to a computer to look it up.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, hey, now, chum, we can do some things the old fashioned way.
Big boomer energy.
Yeah, for real. Because
Makes him look it up in the phone book.
here in the year of our Lord 2022, I couldn't tell you the last time I even seen a phone book.
Yeah, that's what a waste of paper.
Truly. We cut to the Riddler's hideout where we find that he's employed a new gang.
Yeah, they're eating cheese. They're the River Rat Gang.
Yeah.
So he can only works with gangs that are based on vermins and have an inexplicable babe.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Do we even get this lady's name?
Not in the first half, at least. I don't know if they'll say her name later.
Hope so. Because I have no idea her name. And I only caught one of the rats' names, River or Whiskers.
Yeah, something like that. They're not in it very much. It's just weird that he went from the Molehill Gang to the River Rat Gang. Do you know what I mean?
Gotta love those rodents.
He's the Riddler, not the Rat King,
If only he was the Rat King.
Yeah. And have like a vermin themed like whole criminal enterprise.
So we find out that the Riddler is in the middle of Plan 13Z. That means nothing. I just thought it was fun.
Yeah, it just implies he's got a million plans,
Which he definitely would.
Yeah. That's part of what makes like the Riddler like a fun character for Batman to deal with. Because it's more like the cerebral, like detective-y nature versus, being able to like fight him.
Yeah, for sure. That's brawn is not the Riddler's strong suit.
Yeah. Although I have a feeling there's going to be a big brawl at the end of this story.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We cut to the Royal Mushroom Club, and the king is just getting along swimmingly with the ambassador and all sorts of other.
Yeah, I assume like rich snobbery people.
Yeah, Gotham elite.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne's not there though.
Yeah, maybe it's like just American elite. Bruce Wayne also doesn't drink, so that might play.
No, I know we've seen him as Batman not order a drink. Have we seen him as Bruce Wayne not like, because that would be like an expected social thing in his circles.
Oh, yeah, who knows?
Because Batman is also a role model.
That's very true. Well, who knows?
Yeah, now that you mention it, we've seen him turn down 2 drinks.
Bruce Wayne is absent.
Yeah, no one seems to be missing him. But
yeah, they're having a great time. Somebody asks if the king would like to inspect the wine cellar.
Yeah, as he's really into the wine, apparently.
Was that one of the members of the River Rat gang?
The way they did it, it made it seem like it was.
But it didn't look like any of them.
It didn't look like any of them, and then like he doesn't seem to spring a trap or anything. But the way the camera worked would makes you think that. So I don't know. I thought the same thing when it first happened too.
Yeah. Well, might be part of a trap, might not be, but it definitely works out in the Riddler's favor.
Yeah.
During the tour of the wine cellar, Batman and Robin come charging in and they ask if they can escort the king back to his hotel room. But Boris assures them that he's perfectly safe. He's amongst friends. And then all the wine bottles start popping open. And while Batman and Robin go to inspect that, King Boris falls through a trap door.
Yeah, where it was like some sort that was like misdirection.
Yeah, now this really relies on King Boris standing in one particular spot.
Whereas like, yeah, if that one guy was part of the river rats, where it's like he could kind of maneuver him into a spot, like, oh, look at this one, and then like pull a lever and he would fall through. But that's not really what happens. Like everyone kind of like looks away, and then it just seems like he died for a second. He's just like, oh, and just falls to the ground. And it's like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was pretty weird, not really good good filmmaking, but it works for Batman 66's storytelling sensibilities, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, what's up with all these trap doors in Gotham City?
They're just everywhere.
They're just
like, why would there be one with right here?
Yeah. And I think one of the workers even comments on it, like, oh, I didn't know that was there.
I mean, I assume it's something Riddler just kind of installed. Because where was he the first time? Like abandoned subway stations, right?
Yeah.
Now he's like in the sewers.
Yeah.
So maybe he is like the rodent king.
It kind of works for this take on the character.
Yeah. But yeah, so, you know, I could bet they probably tunneled under and
so
installed one.
Batman and Robin are left with two more riddles here.
Yeah. How much dirt is 3 acres squared and 200 feet deep? Which was weird, and I didn't get that. And then what won't run long without winding? My guess was a road. So the acres one is an island, and the other one's a river, which makes sense together. But like the first one, I was like, I don't know what the hell that's referring to.
So yeah, they go back to the Batcave once again, because I guess that's just where they have to go to find out the answer to the riddles.
Yeah, because they're trying to figure out like a wind in the river. They're trying to deduce the joke that the Riddler's hideout.
Yeah, and they find that it is at the Gotham Water and Power Plant.
Which, to show the address, is on the east side of the river. So I think that's where the E came into play.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought it was weird that that's what it was, and then like they never mentioned it, and it never came up.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Like I thought it might be like East Street or something that the Mushroom Club was at.
Yeah, because didn't we get an address related riddle?
Yeah, but it didn't.
Riddler?
Yeah, whatever. It didn't say anything about it. I just was upset because I figured that one out and I felt relatively clever.
At the Gotham City Water and Power, which I feel like they didn't explicitly say when Batman and Robin like discovered that's where it was, but it seems to be pretty abandoned.
I think the narrator calls it abandoned. Someone said it's abandoned somewhere, which is weird because it seems like a pretty important part of infrastructure.
Yeah, I guess there's just a new one. Who knows?
I guess, yeah.
There's like some abandoned stuff like that here in Philadelphia. Granted, we're, a long time out from 1966.
Yeah, almost 60 years.
That seems a bit early to have like a huge abandoned structure.
Well, and to be fair, Philadelphia is like predates America. I don't know how old of city Gotham is.
That's true. I mean, I guess as old as the story needs it to be.
Yeah.
Here, the female member of the River Rat gang says that she's never met royalty before.
Yeah, because they just have the King Boris with them.
She's the one who gave King Boris the exploding flowers.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
yeah. So I was just like, oh, well, you've actually met this exact person once before.
Well, no, she's like hanging out with them, you know?
Yeah, I guess they're having a good time. Most of them, not the.
Well, after she says that, Riddler loses his mind and comes up with like a million different royal monikers for himself.
Yeah,
It was pretty fun to watch.
this scene was, or like that delivery was amazing.
I thought it was kind of scary, man.
Yeah, he like lost his shit like quick. Yeah, he's like, I'm the Prince of Puzzlers. I hold court here.
Yeah.
Like,
So, yeah, he says he's the king of crime, prince of puzzlers, the duke of something that began with a D. I don't remember what it was, but there was like a couple of them.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Great acting on Frank Gorshin's part.
Yeah, he's a good Riddler.
Indeed. Batman and Robin arrive, and we get a bat climb.
Yeah, those are always fun. I love the bat climb.
Yeah.
I just love the casual conversations they have. They get all philosophical.
It was so good. Before they start climbing, it's very obvious that like Batman is hiding.
Yeah, he's got his cape like he keeps it like over his body, so clearly he's like holding the bat rope thing already.
Yeah.
When he throws it. I first thought it because like you can see like there's like wind blowing because like you can see it like with Robin's cape and stuff. So I didn't know if like Adam West was just holding his cape down because like it was just going bananas.
Oh, that could be true.
Yeah, but no, when he finally throws it, he like throws his cape back and it's fine.
Yeah.
It just was noticeable and weird.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, you're like, are you hiding like whatever the bat rope is wrapped around on?
Yeah, I
Uh,
did notice that. I thought it was bizarre.
yeah, during the climb, Robin is like, if we fail this time, it's going to be a huge international incident. This is their third international incident.
Well, so the first one was obviously the first Riddler story. Was
And
the
then
second one the
Mr.
Mr. Freeze? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is their third one. In like how many stories has it been? Like this is the sixth. So half the time.
And yeah, Batman's just like, democracy depends on our success. Anyone should feel safe visiting these shores, be they peasant or royalty.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
It was a really good.
This kind of like that kind of corniness is why I love this version of Batman.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Like we said before, the Riddler tells King Boris that he's being demoted to a pawn in order to checkmate Batman. Again, it's
And
all
then
these chess things keep coming.
And Riddler referred to himself as a king too, Yeah, chess and royalty keeps being a thing. And obviously chess has a lot of royalty in it.
Yes.
So yeah, I think you're on something. I think they probably will go to that, whatever that chess competition was. If they don't, then it's weird that it keeps coming up.
Truly. And, this wouldn't be the first time that episode one.
Wrote checks that episode 2 couldn't cash. Yeah. I agree. Because that happened with the Riddler last time, where he's going to sue Batman.
So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But here, Batman and Robin are sneaking up on the Riddler and his gang. And just when they think they have the drop on him, they get caught in a net.
Yeah, and like it's sprayed with like sticky stuff. It was weird.
Yeah, some kind of like aerosol glue.
It looked like asbestos.
Oh God.
But that's not sticky. It just looked like that's what it was. Like, I don't know, maybe like cotton candy, maybe is more accurate.
Yeah, for sure. So Batman and Robin are kidnapped, and what are they attached to? These like turbines?
Yeah, they're like big turbines because it was a water treatment plant. Actually, this scene, like I remember it very vividly, this cliffhanger. I must have seen this episode a couple of times as a kid, or at least this part. Because like I was like, oh my God. And as soon as I cut to that room, I was like, they're gonna be on the thing and they're gonna start spinning. Because I was like, I remember that. Like it just triggered some like ancient memory in my brain.
Interesting. Because I had a similar thought.
I mean, it might just be a thing where like maybe we find out this is a trope where like they're always stuck on something that's gonna spin. For some reason, like I remembered it very vividly all of a sudden.
or maybe there was some like Batman 66 retrospective that like used this.
Something maybe that
But
might be
yeah,
it.
it was very familiar to me. Like maybe I caught it on TV Land or something back then.
Yeah, it had to have been something like that.
But yeah, so before Riddler leaves them to their doom via spinning on a turbine till they die, he delivers one last riddle.
And it's, why is a woman in love like a welder? I haven't figured this one out yet, but I figure I have a week to maybe crack the code. But it is funny once the thing starts spinning, because he gives out to Batman. He's like, you got maybe a minute to figure it out before the centrifugal force like rips the bones from your body. I'm like, ooh, that's really graphic.
Yeah.
But it is funny when it starts spinning. It's very clearly like stuffed dummies, because like their legs are like sausages and they don't make any sense. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a stronger first half for the Riddler than we got last time. Even though the lawsuit angle I thought was more interesting, but they didn't follow up on that at all.
Yeah. And I just love the Riddler here. He's like,
Yeah, everything feels a lot more like the show's a lot more figured out and put together now. It's like he's clicking a lot more.
yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I feel like this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited for the next episode.
Did you catch the narrator's little outro for us?
No, what do you say?
Well, he invites us to come back tomorrow night, same time, but same Bat channel.
Okay.
So it's not yet Bat time, but it's Bat channel. It felt
Okay.
really awkward and clunky when he said it.
All right. I didn't notice that it's been like evolving, because my brain just has been auto-correcting it to Bat time and Bat channel.
Yeah, no, this is our first. It's been same time, same channel until this episode.
Yeah. I wonder if the show's like, I don't know how far in advance they had finished the episodes or like got them done like and shipped out to be viewed or to be broadcast. Because the show I know was hugely popular, and it's kicked off Batmania. But I don't know if maybe like now they're confident like we can start getting goofier with things. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to like find a little retrospect because yeah, I guess we've had 10 weeks of Batman.
Yeah, so that's more than 2 months. Oh no, would it be 10 weeks? Because each story.
Oh yeah, that's
there's
right.
2 episodes a week. Yeah.
So it's not been very long.
Okay, yeah. It's just been long for us because we do an episode a week.
Yeah.
So it's like twice the length that the show has been going on.
But I feel like the beginning of this episode, like, and not saying, it's very possible that the writer for this episode could have just read the script for episode 1. But I feel like it's directly riffing off of that.
Yeah, it's got a lot of weird similar stuff. The varmint gang with the lady, a royal incident, the Riddler, obviously. Yeah. I mean, in the first one, he had Robin tied up. I mean, I don't think that's too different. Like a lot of these wound up with somebody tied up. I think they all have, now that I think about it.
Frozen, tied up, same difference.
Yeah. Restrained or captured in some way.
Yeah, in some sort of mortal peril.
Yeah.
Even the scene in the police headquarters, I feel like Chief O'Hara is like, he references what Commissioner Gordon called him in the first episode. It's like, oh, as you call him, the Infernal Prince of Puzzlers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who knows how quick or how much time is in between production. Maybe there's some information out there.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I don't know how much of a writer's room or how much creative can like oversight a showrunner might have had on this. I'm also thinking like how I know a lot about how modern TV shows are made because we live in the age of podcasts and like they do the same, like people that worked on the show do the same thing. Like we're doing now where they go through every episode, but like they talk about the behind the scenes process.
Yeah.
We also live in the age of like DVD extras. As lay people, we know a lot more about how these things were made, but I'm also not sure like how much of a creative like vision this was versus this is a popular comic. We can kind of just do it. Because like Batman wasn't super popular yet. I think this is the show that really like pushed him into the mainstream.
This is what made him a household name.
Yeah. Because I know Superman was way more popular and he already had a television show. So I might just be like, hey, what else do we have the access to? And like, our next best-selling title is Batman or Detective Comics. I'm not sure what it was at the time, which version they would have been wanting to pull from first. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and we can talk about this like later in the series. But yeah, if this is, this was the thing that pushed Batman into the mainstream, but then there was such a pushback from it like decades later from fans.
Yeah, well, as like comics evolved.
Yeah, people grow up and taste change. Yeah.
As fans who maybe, were meant to grow out of things, stuck around. Yeah, this definitely left a sour taste in people's mouths.
Well, like, I don't know. I always liked this show. I mean, I like dark and more serious Batman too. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Yeah.
I'm kind of curious if we would have gone through that same arc had we
grown up in the
we had this show, because like both me and you had experienced different versions of Batman on the screen before coming across this.
Yeah, because I can't remember if I watched this stuff first or like the Tim Burton Batman stuff or the animated series first. Well, I definitely watched this and like the Super Friends and that stuff first before the animated series.
Yeah, but my first, that movie, 89, is my first, like I had that on cassette tape and just watched it a lot.
Yeah.
We got any emails?
No, not this week. But if anyone wants to email us, we're at batcast66@gmail.com.
Cool.
Questions or comments or just like, hey, I used to really like this show. Like, I want, give us any of that stuff. And if it's suitable for broadcast, obviously we'll bring it up here and address it or talk about it. And maybe if we get enough stuff, maybe we'll just do like a mailbag episode.
Yeah, I'd love to like hear from any listeners who are, like the age of our parents who like watched this.
Yeah.
Especially if there's like an episode that we've covered that they, have a fond memory of.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess that'll do us for this episode, right?
Yeah.
All right. Riddler Day keeps the Riddler away.
We'll catch you next week. And same Batcast time,